All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nerf Surf and Turf Day 17 Detailed Cast. So, if you look around, you will notice something very, very different in the map for the very first time. You will notice, of course, the new world has changed dramatically. So, for 16 days, I've been harping on how nothing is changing in the new world, and now a lot has changed. There's no question about it. Very little left of the northern United States. We have 3 territories left, and it looks like one is about to be overrun. Another one is open for overrunning. So it looks like Greenland has finally broken through. Now, granted, that was with the assistance of cannon from South Canada. We're attacking into Portland for the longest time. And so that cannon from North Canada and the from South Canada, and the infantry from North Canada were pivotal here in that northern breakthrough. But what eventually happened, I think that was maybe the most powerful thing of all, were these cruisers down here. And it looks like 2 more cruisers are joining the fight here. And there's just really, it's hard to fight that coastally, right? And of course, you got New York here, which has already been taken over, by the way. And at some point, I'm not sure how, but central United States was able to recapture that. And I guess it looks like Greenland just didn't leave anything behind. So it looks to me like all 3 of the American countries are trying to hold New York here, but there's just nothing they can do against this bombardment. And that's 3, of course, with 2 more coming on the way. So whatever fight they're putting up now, I will go ahead and say it's over. It's pretty much over. We'll talk more about other factors coming into that as well. Now, here's something that I found really surprising. So first of all, we talked about in previous episodes, we talked about how Power of Us is in a spiral. So, in a morale spiral. And that is still true. And here's what's baffling is when you're in a morale spiral, it's usually because you are low on food, low on energy. I can see here that it looks like there's plenty of material here. So there's plenty of iron and wood for this southern Canada here. So the problem is, if the problem is food and energy, what you do is, of course, you shut down all your barracks, but I'm sure he's done that. Yeah. The other thing you do is you suicide all of your guys into your enemy, because every single infantry uses every single day wheat and oil every day. And if you suicide enough of your guys early on, and I would say down here into Baltimore or Detroit rather, and it's going to, a lot of them will die, but if you punch through, then that's great because you've got yourself an energy here. And if you don't punch through, of course, you do want to keep some back here in this wonderful level 4 fort. Say keep, 10 back or something. But for whatever reason, he's not doing that. So you can see right here, here is Power's 29 troops just sitting there doing nothing. Bafflingly, we have 24 troops that aren't even doing anything defensively back here, who should have long ago, kamikazed into something. At some point, when you have such low morale, you've got to get rid of that energy drain. You've got to get rid of that food drain. So that's maybe something that people are reluctant to do, is throw away troops, and I get it. But when you're going into a morale spiral, it's really worth doing. Now, here's the other thing that I find very, very surprising, is that it is possible to attack into a territory and allow one of your weakened allies to take some of those territories. And we see here that Greenland has taken all of them. All of the new captures here are Greenland. So you can see none of it is light mage, none of it is northern Canada, none of this that's recently captured, and none of it is this sort of, mauve color. So all of this is Greenland. And that might be just a little greedy on Greenland's part, because now Greenland's going to have to hold it. And instead of inviting, this 70 troops from northern Canada should have been part of this push. Instead, it looks like what happened was, here we go. northern USA made a push into here. For whatever reason, these two turned around to face that push, and there's really no reason for that because there's tons of South Canada, North Canada, South Canada. There's plenty of stuff here, as well as a giant fort to protect that. So this 70, it looks like, okay, this 70 is racing to try to capture this, but guess who's going to get there first? Greenland is going to get there first. So Greenland is taking everything, and I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, this was a group push. We know that Northern Canada was pressuring down here with a cannon from Southern Canada. And, there is this temptation to just grab everything. But look, you need your land player, right? Desperately, they really need to get Power of Us expanded out and get him some territories and really encourage him to suicide some of his infantry so he can start to build back his morale. But that's not what's happening. Greenland is taking everything. And then we can see what's happening down here is the United States is starting to rally some defenses here. So we'll see what happens. Can the United States rally defenses? They're spread so thin in the backcountry, but there is stuff coming up here. So there's a good probably 20-ish. I think they can hold, but it looks like Greenland's going to take another territory here. Now, there's nothing wrong with what Greenland's doing in terms of just capturing territories. Why? Because it wrecks their morale. Even if you can't hold it, it's a good idea to take it. You take it, you break the morale down. Let's see what it is now. It's 62. As soon as he captures this, it's going to go down to 25, right? So that's a devastating hit to morale. The same thing happened up here, and the same thing is happening all through central United States. So Greenland has a good strategy here, but this kind of thing, taking everything, I don't know. And of course, later on, Greenland can give away territories, but you can only give away one territory per day. So I don't know what's going on here. It looks like one of these three countries is taking everything. We'll see the consequences of that moving forward. You know what? Just hold that thought because we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. One thing I did see that was very interesting over here is Morocco. What are you doing, Morocco, with your 6 guys over here? Looks like an additional 5 over here, so make that 11 guys. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 guys. 19 guys. What are you doing with these 19 guys? Are they coming over to a position where they might be invading into southern United States again? Could be. Remember, here's another one. Was that 19 or 20? Now, don't forget, it was this team that I think might have doomed the United States by attacking down here and capturing a couple territories, messing up morale for southern United States and causing the southern United States to bring a lot of troops down south instead of concentrating in the north. So all of this is tied together. And then here we have Morocco coming on back and possibly trying to deliver a low blow somewhere in the mid-southern United States here with a stack of it. Looks like maybe 18 around this region. That would be a fun little side attack from Morocco. We'll see what happens there. We can also see now as we move east throughout the Middle East here that this all remains fairly stable here. One thing that has changed, and I can't remember if this had happened last time or not, but this is pretty big. Jerusalem has been captured. So the capital of Arabia has been captured. And that's a big thing because Benaiah really, really wanted to, I know he wanted the oil that's over here. However, to get to that oil, he's got to punch through some lines here. And we've got 5 cruisers here, so that's great. 5 cruisers from Egypt, reining in death here. And it looks like West Libya coming down with a car, but it's going to take more than that one car to break through these defenses over here. Same thing up here. We have a bunch of stuff in this region. But again, I mean, we have 119 guys sitting there. And this is massively crucial. This capture is massively crucial. And so I said it last cast for, what was it, day 16? At least Egypt brought across the big stack that was over here, or at least a lot of them over to the other side of the water. That's good. That's a good start. But here on day 17, we find ourselves kind of in the same position, which is, Why is Egypt not taking part in this crucial capture? They need to capture this, and they need to capture it fast. The sooner they get that oil, the better. And the sooner they gather these territories, the sooner they can think about a defense against what's definitely they know coming from the north. Here's 110 stacked on their northern border. Now, this looks like it's more defensive than anything at this point, because as of now, think of this as the Southern Coalition has the advantage in the water. So we have 5 cruisers from Egypt, we have 2 from Papa Smitty, and we can see now that Italy is working more or less in conjunction with this Southern Alliance. And it makes sense because Hemland, Raya Force, and Swedish Viking here are just too much of a power. Look how big Raya Force has become now. And of course, Hemland has been this big all along. We're going to talk more about Hemland in Europe and what's going on over there. But as of now, let's just count boats. All right, I'm just going to count boats as cruisers and subs both. So over here we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right? 14. And because it's 3 countries, right? It's 3 different countries down here that are sort of teaming up, because we're looking at Morocco, Italy, and Egypt. All of them are serf. So all of that against what essentially in this region is 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So it really is kind of Caucasus against everything down here. Now, luckily, Caucasus has a lot of material, and Caucasus has a lot of different seafront resorts here that are able to churn out. We've got some factories with harbors here all around the edge here, but it's just not a fair fight. It's 3-1 in terms of naval forces. So, but still, having said all of that, there's just no denying that this is a powerhouse team. Now, we do see as we move around here, this has got to be very frustrating, I would think, to the Southern Coalition here, because Arabia is putting up a very stiff defense along with this fairly decent little Air Force here. It's just 1 bomber, but it's 2 bombers and 1 fighter. That has changed. I didn't know there were 2 bombers there. So that's got to hurt. It's like the longer you take to conquer in, this is being used strictly defensively here. Okay, these bombers are not attacking in. Very interesting. And that's, here we go. We have some defensive fighters going as well. So a lot of micro going on here, which is obviously important. I'm still baffled by this 120 troops that are just sitting there. I play by the rule that you attack with everything you have. Again, we've talked about this in the past, whether you have to flour them to give them maximum power. But the quicker you take stuff over, the quicker you start to repair that morale, the quicker you can start to build things on it, and the quicker you get that, that rate of absorption of those resources that you need so desperately. And also, the quicker you can turn around and start to defend the borders instead of sending, it's going to take a while, and it's going to send, they're going to have to send a lot of troops down into the corner here, which means that they will not be available for defense on the perimeter. So the sooner you can conquer, the better. This 119 is baffling to me. I don't know what's going on there. It was sort of similar last turn as well. So now in the previous Ottoman Empire here, we still have Morocco, who we have since seen by their own actions in the ocean, is allied with this Southern Coalition. So it does look like Benaya has put together a coalition against this sort of dreadnought team up here that has kind of been dominating. But we talked about this. Sometimes when you dominate, you paint that target on your back. And I know I played the Mesopotamian game, Dominion, enough times to know that's exactly right. In the Mesopotamian game, you have to capture 4 oil fields. And when you capture that 4th, you better be ready for everyone to attack you. Like, there's no reason not to attack you at that point, because you're going to win. You have to hold them for like 3 days, I think. And so just everyone attacks you. It's a similar thing in any game. If you're dominating the game, then people around you have nothing to lose. They need to take you down, and then they can sort of deal with each other later, right? These temporary bedfellows that you've made as you've made these alliances. So what we do have that's interesting here is Morocco has been revealed to sort of be a silent partner to that Southern Coalition. And to that effect, we see here West Algeria is sort of buffing up those numbers here, and you can see Morocco moving in with 16 more. There's going to be significant troops here, so that it looks like if I don't know if Caucasus ever really wanted to push them out, it's now going to be really hard to do so. So very interesting stuff happening up here. At one point, I'd kind of believed in my heart that the entire Ottoman sort of peninsula here would have gone to the northern team, and now I see that although there's significant portions that have gone to the northern team, obviously all of these territories here have, there is still a foothold here that the southern team has, which of course does mean the ability to land troops and attack across land instead of having to try to land those aquatic landings, which are so difficult to do. Okay, so moving up, let's take a look at what's happening in Russia. The other big thing that's happening up here, of course, is the collapse of Russia. So we have up here Finland has attacked down and through. All this used to be green. This all used to be Russia through here. So Finland has attacked down and conquered a lot of Russia. But here's the very interesting thing that has happened here is that also at the same time, northern Russia has conquered down and captured several territories from Russia as well. So I would contrast this. You can see northern Russia grabbed a hold of this double steel. I believe, yeah, they grabbed a hold of this double wheat. So northern Russia was able to grab a hold, and I'm not sure if they already had this or not. So again, they might have already had it, but I'm not sure. But my main point here is that the allies of northern Russia are allowing Russia to grab some as the conquering happens. Now, that's not to say Finland doesn't have a ton of stuff here, but these are big territories. So that's 1, 2, 3 territories that's been captured in this region, right? So they're allowing northern Russia to capture down also. I just want to contrast that to what's happening in North America. Greenland is taking all of this. And, I've conquered in before, and my feeling is always like, hey, let's go in together. Come on, bring some troops down northern Canada, bring some troops down southern Canada. You take some, I'll take some. And in that way, we all grow stronger. And in this game in particular, because we each have our own specialty, we need a strong land player. We need a strong Navy player. We need a strong air player. So I'm not sure how this is going to come back and if it will bite them in the butt or not. We'll go ahead and see. But I do like what I'm seeing over here, which is sort of a shared conquering. It does look like Russia is going to obtain these last couple territories to bolster Russia into a very large and pretty daunting landmass there that eventually is going to have so many resources coming in that we're going to see some pretty serious air coming out of this region. Now, of course, there's only one fighter so far, but so many doubles, double fish, double wheat, double iron, which is great for Air Force. You want those materials, of course. Eventually going to get another wheat over here, going to get another wood. Wood is real important. Got a new wood down here, iron over here, wood over here. So coal, a lot of good stuff. A little lacking in the oil. It looks to me like so Finland got an oil over here, and I thought there was another oil around here potentially. But anyway, got a double coal down here from the former Eastern European states. But anyway, I feel like this is conquering done right. I feel like Finland took some of it and northern Russia took some of it. They kind of split the goods down there, and that's a great way to do things, especially in this kind of specialty game. All right, I'm trying to think about anything else that needs to be covered. Oh yeah, France did go ahead and capture into here, and then for whatever reason is retreating with a large force back over to here. Now, this may be the reason. We talked about, I was going to talk to you more about Romania and what Romania has been doing. Take a look at Romania. That's what Romania has been doing. 8 cannon. And that may be why France kind of backed off there. Looks like, yeah, Ukraine's just go ahead and taken off, boogieing on out of here, because it does look like Romania has this locked down. With 59 troops and 5 cars and 8 cannon, that's going to be hard to deal with. So it almost looks to me like France has gone ahead and given up this former, what was this? The former Austria-Hungary uh, headquarters here, capital. But that's only if, right? It's only if Romania is willing to go to war with France, and he may be willing to do that. But boy, the morale cost of war has got to be weighing on these people as they go to war with more and more people. It looks like Page is stable, although at this point, my understanding is Page has not been heard of for about 3 days. So Page, as far as we can tell, is AFK. We hope that's temporarily. I set this game so that people can leave for as long as 5 days before the AI takes over. And of course, you can still even come back even after the AI takes over, we know. So we'll see what happens. The 3 days absent really does a lot to explain why there are not factories being built on this broad swath of land here, and why there's only one boat in the water where we see many, many boats in some of those other countries. If this goes on for much longer, whatever diplomatic relations Page has built are going to crumble, because people are going to say, look, if Page is not building stuff, then Page is not an ally. And if Page is not an ally, let's start taking over land. So I don't know how much longer this is going to last, but Page needs to get back in the game. There's just no question about it. Now, if something called them away and that's just that, then that's the end of Great Britain, as far as I can tell. We're going to have Finland over here. We're going to have Hemland over here. People are going to come in and just ravage what's left, especially of the previous Poland lands. And then we'll see what happens over here. But again, even your best allies, if you go AFK, nobody's going to stay loyal to that, because the very act of going AFK is sort of not loyal, right? It's sort of, leaving your partners behind. Now, we all know emergencies come up. So, heck, if an emergency comes up, then you do what you got to do. That's all there is to it. But hopefully Page will come back sometime soon. That is the hope, certainly. All right, I think that's about it. I think we've covered everything. A lot of stuff going on here. Big changes in the New World. Whether or not Greenland taking everything by himself is a mistake, it's still a huge achievement, right? And even if it is a mistake, once this all gets mopped up here and the 71 from Northern Canada starts to get his act together and realize that, it looks to me like that 71 is trying to come down and capture over to here. But it also looks to me, frankly, like Greenland's going to get there first. So he's going to snag it. And, yeah, I don't know. That to me is a little much. It's like, let him have it, man. You can see he's going for it. Let him have it. I don't know why not. And especially since Greenland is spread so thin. But Greenland is bringing down like another 30 guys down into this region. But there is a stronghold here in America holding firm. And then it looks like Central America is running down there with some troops to try to defend the center over here. So there's pockets of resistance. They really need these sort of North Canadian troops down there. They also need to be active. North Canada should be active with this bomber and fighter. I don't know why they're not. Again, you can safely bomb 13 guys or 2 guys. You're not going to get hurt in resistance, right? There's no way. Bombers have 4 hit points, I think, against 1.3 defense on the ground. This 13 is not going to defend very hard against those bombers or against that bomber. But anyway, they're sitting there, and that's cool. No biggie. The North is going to win here. There's just no question about it. I think that's about it. That's all I really wanted to cover for now. Ton of stuff going on here. Again, this coalition of the South resisting the behemoth of the Center East. But we'll see who sort of prevails here. We see this land giant here now from Henland, the largest stack of artillery we've seen so far with 8. We see Ryaforce holding his own, more or less, but struggling against 3 aquatic nations down here, which makes a lot of sense. And we're just going to see a chess game down here. That's all there is to it. Can the Southern troops take over Arabia? That's going to be big. Can the Central troops slowly squeeze this Ottoman region and really get the most of it? If Arabia falls, they're taking this. I promise you, they're taking this double wood. They tolerated that getting sniped out from under them because they need Arabia. But if Arabia dies, they're taking this. And then, of course, I think eventually going to try to take this and probably be able to take these remaining two. So once these central powers here have all of the Ottoman peninsula here, that will help to balance things as well. It's a fascinating game, guys. There's a lot going on, a lot in the balance here, and no clear winners so far either. There's some people who are sort of have run ahead. I think maybe, to me, the sleeping giant is the northern powers, and I don't know what's going to happen to the central powers once they find themselves seriously pinched between these northern and southern powers. Again, diplomacy is going to be key moving forward. So we'll see what happens there. Very exciting stuff. I'm pretty stoked. So that's about it, guys. Thanks for checking in to this exciting game. I'll see y'all next time. Adios, amigos.